Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. So you may call or text every day on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, we are here in 3D, live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Earth's finest water. Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you, to discuss whatever topics are important to you, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, as you know, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, and we are on RadioFreeNetwork.com. Click on radio, the drop box will appear. Click on New Life. Every broadcast is available to you Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then for the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center at 10:45 a.m. every Sunday. We are live in our sanctuary at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Come and worship with us. Service begins at 10 a.m. We go live with the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. So there's parking on Hillcrest. We are the brown brick building located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road at New Life Christian Center every Sunday at 10 a.m. So I want to say, you know, we've been talking about your desire to become successful and all of the communications that we've had come in about being successful. We've been talking about that ongoing this past week. And we will get back to that again. There's been some other communications coming in about that. But I want to today just address the communications that have come in from some of our listeners and viewers. And this is just about a lot of different topics with regard to quality of life. So you all have heard me talk about having quality of life. And I just want to make certain that we address some of the communications that have come in, because we, as you know, every communication that comes in is reviewed and chosen for a subsequent broadcast. As God speaks to me, I'll speak to you, so that we can make certain that we all have a great quality of life. So one of our listeners and viewers indicated that you appear to have started working on a new project and found that your creativity is at a high level right now. You want to know, how do you maintain your current level of creativity? And here's what I want you to understand. Don't beat yourself up about this. Listen, you're being creative right now. There are always going to be ebbs and flows in our creativity. Now, some things are just natural for us due to our level of competency. But there's ebbs and flows when it comes to creativity. You're not always going to feel at your most creative. You're not always going to be at your most creative moments. The key is to continue working so that you can maximize the time and effort, the time and energy that you're putting into every project. And you want to make certain that you get it right. So you don't want to beat yourself up about the ebbs and flows. You want to really just focus on getting things done correctly. So let me just take you through a couple of scenarios and make certain that we all get a clear understanding, because this is for all of our listeners and viewers, for us to be able to maximize our success and to be able to get the return on the investment of the time that we put into every project. Now, as you started this new project, you listened to your colleagues and then you began the work. So you're feeling right now at a high level of creativity. Your concern is that your creative juices may stop flowing. You can't concern yourself about that. First of all, you're competent. So whenever you have work to do, like I said, there are moments when naturally our competency takes over. We know what needs to be done. We've educated ourselves, we've researched, we've done all of the things that need to be done to become competent. So you're there. The ebbs and flows come with your creativity. One day you may feel like right now, you've felt for the last few weeks that you've been in a place of creativity. You're concerned it's going to stop, but you can't focus on the ebbs and flows, because just like you felt these past few weeks that you've been creative, you've been at a high level of creativity, there may be, so there's your flows, but there may be an ebb where for a week or two you don't feel as creative, but you can still put in good quality work. I'm going to use an example. So I've started writing books, and one of the things that I learned about writing is something that I learned from a course that I took, and I think it was one of the courses online at Yale. And one of the things that they said in the course is that even when you feel that you're not at your best writing, just keep writing. Just keep writing, and you will eventually get into your rhythm that's going to allow you to be effective and to really maximize your potential. So, they tell you, just keep writing, because there's going to be moments of ebbs and flows with your creativity. So what I want to encourage you to do is don't focus on the ebbs and flows. I use the term just keep writing, but just keep working. In your case, keep working the project, because there are always going to be days when we have moments when we're not as creative as we might be, but we have the energy to keep working. And if you do that, you're going to find that you're going to maintain your success. You're going to continue to be successful. It's not going to interfere with your deadlines. It's not going to interfere with you being able to complete the project. Just don't concern yourself with focusing on the ebbs and flows. The creativity will come and go, and then it will come again. The good news is it's never gone forever. So just keep working, and you will find that you will complete your project. Your project will be successful, and you'll be able to move on to the next one. And this is what I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, and this is really all about work. Work never ends. Just like success is never ending. You're always constantly moving towards the completion of one project, the success of that project, and then on to the next success. we have to stop selling ourselves short, basically. We have to stop believing that, for example, you're going to lose your creativity and it's never going to return again. You know that's not the case. You've been in your career now for a decade, and your creativity has come and gone, and it's come again. So just focus on continuing to do the work. You'll get to the place that God has appointed for your life. You'll get to the place where that project is completed, and you'll be prepared for the next project that will be placed in front of you, because the good news about our careers and professions is that there's always going to be something on the other side of what we're working on now. There's always going to be something to complete that on the other side of what we're working on right now. If you focus on that, you won't begin to focus on the ebbs and flows, and you'll get to the place that God has appointed for your life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So the only thing you cannot have been is a T-Mobile customer for the previous 90 days, and we will have the opportunity to place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer. Experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband says that your expectations of him are unrealistic. And you say that's not true. However, you say you want him to become the best version of himself and maximize his career. So let me really break this down for you, because God allowed me to see in that secret place of your lives. You didn't say this in your communication, but your husband is not only telling you that your expectations of him are unrealistic, he feels that you're not trying to make him or help him become a better version of himself. He feels that you are trying to make him become the version that you want him to become. And there's a difference there. And so I'm going to really break this down, and I want you to encourage your husband to tune in either Facebook Live, YouTube Live. YouTube Live is 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, and have him tune in and he can see this also. But I want you to recognize what you're doing, because that's going to be real important to you being able to, first of all, correct this, and second of all, really help your husband to become the best version of himself that he can become, and not the version you want him to become. So, you've got to think about it in these terms. First and foremost, society has taught us to believe that marriage should be a job. No, marriage is work. And let me tell you what that means. You're only working, it's not putting each other to work. It's so that marriage is so that the two of you can work to build a great quality of life for you both and your children. What you're really saying is you want him to not only become a better version of himself, but you use my language, you said, maximize his career, which translation, you want him to make more money. And the reality is that he is making an income now that has allowed the two of you to be blessed. You are making an income where the two of you together are able to build a great quality of life. And now you want him to do more. And the reason is because you're comparing him to the husbands or significant others of your friends. And this isn't the first time I've seen this, so you're not by yourself, because I've responded to a communication in the past in a different way because it was a different topic, but somewhat similar. The problem is that you're looking at where you are right now and you're saying it's not enough. But the reality is, if you look around, you have a great quality of life. And that doesn't mean that he won't continue to grow in his career, but you can't expect him to be promoted just because you want him to be promoted. There's a process that goes through, the bureaucracy that's involved in the corporate environment. He has to go through the proper channels. He has to be able to build relationships. And you're saying, but he's been there for a period of time, but his personality is not conducive for him building relationships immediately. It's going to take time. There's a process for him to feel comfortable enough to build relationships with people at the executive level. He's got to be comfortable with that. And you're trying to make your marriage another job for him. You can't, and this is for all of our listeners and viewers, stop allowing society to tell us that marriage is a job. And they use the term work, but then everything that follows that is another job. That's not what marriage is. Marriage allows the two of you to take advantage of all of the gifts and advantages, that the favor that holy matrimony brings you. And in addition to that, it allows the two of you to work together to build a great quality of life. There's advantages to being married. There's the psychological advantage of being married. There's the tax advantages to being married. There's the physical advantage of being married. And I'm not just talking about the intimacy, I'm talking about the fact that, it is scientific research has proven that people who are married live longer. Because they have better health. So we have to recognize that marriage is not a job. Marriage is a quality of life. It's working to build a great quality of life. And you build it on the foundation of marriage, because when a man and a woman come together and are married, they stand before God, before family and friends, and they make the commitment to build a great quality of life. That's what they're doing. It isn't just about warm and fuzzy love and this is who I wanted. No, we want what God wants for us, and that includes the person we choose to be married to. We need to know that it's the person that God has appointed for our lives. So, as I've often said, I'm not even going to go through the scenario of the dating practice again, because I'm sure I'll be going through that many times over, and we've been through that in the past. It's important how you date. You can't date for entertainment. You can't date for sport. You're dating for a purpose. And the purpose is so that you can come together and build a relationship that then leads to marriage and then leads to a better quality of life. That's what marriage is. But you can't make it a job. You can't just say, I want him to make more money, and magically money appears. That's not how it works. There's a process to promotion. Part of that process is relationships. Well, obviously, competency and good work. And then relationships. Being able to build relationships at the executive level. And your spouse he has a personality that he's going to have to learn to build those relationships as he's comfortable, because he's not comfortable communicating with everyone. And you've got to recognize that. We've got to know who we are and whose we are. That will build his confidence. So one of the things you're going to have to work on is your spiritual, your relationship with the Lord. And that's for both of you. I mean, I understand you have a relationship, but it's limited. Your relationship right now exists on going to church a couple of times a month and praying over your food and praying at night, and occasionally reading a daily bread. That's not going to maximize the quality of your life. So you've got to build on the foundation of your relationship with the Lord, and then the two of you have to work on what God wants for both of your lives. Experiencing the fullness of God. And that is building a great quality of life. Experiencing the fullness of God. And then maximizing the fullness of God through the lives of children and grandchildren. That's really how we get there. How we maximize the fullness of God. But first you've got to experience it. And the only way you're going to experience it is by having a relationship with the Lord, and then working to build that great quality of life that Christ promised us in his word when he said, I came that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. That's why we're here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, so that you can have life and have it more abundantly, so that you can experience a better quality of life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Under Armour Golf, which now powers the Junior League, a national league for boys and girls ages 6 through 18 of all skill levels. Under Armour is advancing the game of golf for all children ages 6 through 18, and we are thankful that Under Armour Golf is our sponsor. You can go to underarmour.com/golf, and you can see what Under Armour is doing to power the Junior League. This allows children ages 6 through 18 to experience the game of golf, to enjoy the game of golf, and to network at a whole nother level, because as I've often said, you will never get 4 to 4.5 hours of FaceTime with anyone as you will on the golf course. And that is going to allow all of these young people to network at another level. The great thing about Under Armour is that in addition to golf, they also have every type of athletic gear and athletic clothing, anything that you could possibly need to stay fit, to stay healthy, and to stay well. Go to underarmour.com and /golf. Once again, you'll be able to see what Under Armour is doing to power the Junior League, a national league for boys and girls ages 6 through 18. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated, you do not get along with your mother-in-law, however, your husband adores his mother, and you want to know what can you do to develop a relationship with someone who is always critical of you. So let me begin by saying this. First of all, if your mother-in-law is critical of you about everything and your husband is not paying attention to that, he needs to be aware. And the only way he's going to be aware is by you bringing it to his attention. So you're going to have to tell your husband that there is a problem between between you and your mother-in-law. Now, this isn't that old adage of, that you adore your mother-in-law, may she rest in peace very soon. This isn't that adage. That's an old comedic joke. But here's the reality. You know, I will tell you, I had a mother-in-law who absolutely was the apple of my eye. And everyone's not fortunate enough to have that experience. So you may be dealing with another experience with your mother-in-law, but if your husband's unaware of that, you're gonna have to bring it to his attention, and then he's going to have to deal with it. You see, you can only do so much, and what that means is you can love your husband, care for your husband as he loves and cares for you. You can love your children, nurture your children. Your mother-in-law can be a witness of that. But if there's a personal issue between the two of you, you're not going to be able to resolve that. It will take your husband to resolve that because it's his mother. And he's going to need to explain to his mother that a man, when he takes a wife, leaves his mother and father and is bonded to his wife. His wife then becomes the priority. And he's going to have to explain to his mother, if she's not going to get along with you, she's not going to welcome you as her daughter-in-law, then the two of you are going to be spending less time with her. And then when you have children, because you've only been married for 4 years, you didn't say that in your communication, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. You've been married for 4 years, and you're eventually going to have children. And when you do, she's going to spend less time with her grandchildren. So we have to make certain that you allow, that everyone stays in their lane, and that you allow your husband to address the issues dealing with his mother. It's not your responsibility to resolve that issue. It's going to be his responsibility. Do the best you can to get along with her. Be amicable and be open to having a good relationship with her. However, you have to make certain your husband is aware of the issue, and you have to allow him to address the problem. He will be able to handle the problem with his mother so that all of you can live together in harmony. Because it's going to be real important that you're able to live your life as husband and wife in harmony. I want to say this to all of our listeners and viewers. It's real important that we understand. First of all, you don't get to choose your family. You get to choose your friends, but you don't get to choose your family. And family sometimes can be one of the most difficult components of life to deal with. However, you have to decide how you're going to deal with them, and you have to be able to deal with them on your terms. And I will say that your mother-in-law has found it difficult to let go of her son, your husband. But that's what she has to realize, is that it's your husband. He remains her son, but he's your husband. And you as a wife take precedent over his mother, and he needs to know that, so that you all can live together and have a great quality of life. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace, that surpasses all understanding